40 years, having earned his Master of Science in Library Service from Wayne State University in 1972. He has worked as a librarian in both urban and rural libraries in both peninsulas of Michigan. For 30 years, he was employed by the Detroit Public Library and the Jackson District Library, long way from the UP. And for the past 10 years, he has been employed by the Bayless Public Library in Sault Ste. Marie, Hiawatha Library Cooperative, and the newly created Superior District Library. And whereas Ken and district library supporters worked diligently for over 2 years to establish a new district library serving the better part of 2 counties in the Upper Peninsula over 1,725 square miles, it was a difficult task. Success demanded someone with Ken's vision, persuasiveness, and tenacity to face the challenge. When the Superior District Library was officially approved in March 2013, it was a testament to the way Ken quietly and steadily worked with others to improve library services across the Upper Peninsula. And whereas in November 2013, under Ken's thoughtful leadership, a .5 mil proposal to support the newly established Superior District Library was approved by voters in the city of Sault Ste. Marie, Chippewa, and Mackinac counties. The district library provides services at 8 locations and receives approximately $600,000 in millage annually. Again, Ken's steadfast dedication to enhance library services in his community proved again that everything was possible, that anything was possible. And whereas Ken has demonstrated throughout his long career an understanding of libraries and a vision for future of libraries, and just as important as the vision, he has worked to implement that vision for the betterment of library services. Therefore, I, Anthony G. Bosphorus, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, on behalf of the City Commission, as the citizens of Sault Ste. Marie, hereby congratulate Ken B. Miller, Jr. on receiving the 2014 Michigan Library Association Librarian of the Year Award, and further express our gratitude for his many years of innovative library services to the City of Sault Ste. Marie and area. In witness thereof, I hereby set my hand to cause the seal of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to be affixed this 20th day of October, 2014. Anthony G. Bosphorus, Mayor. Ken, a lot of words, but
Wow.
a job well done. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy your retirement, and the Lions are better off for it. There's a little more time for you. But you want to say a few words, certainly.
I appreciate that. This was the Michigan Library Association award was really an honor to me and quite a shock, actually. I just did my job. And this, I really appreciate this. The thoughts in here about the district library really came to fruition because you, as a commission, agreed that it was a good thing to do, and you, as a commission, asked 2 of your members to be part of the committee to create that library. Without that kind of the backup and work from everybody, we couldn't have made the district library. So it's not something that I did, it's something that we all did. And the other thing that I'd like to say is that we have had an excellent library at Bayless because of the people who are sitting right here. The library staff came out tonight, surprised me, I didn't expect them to be here, but thank you guys for coming, I appreciate that. But they're the ones who do all the work, and they're the ones who really deserve the credit. So again, thank you very much for this, I appreciate it very much, and thank each and every one of you from the library staff for making it possible. Thank you.
Certainly thank you for those words, Ken. And we wish you well in your retirement.
Oh, I didn't say anything about that.
Oh. 2 weeks, eh? Okay. Well, well deserved. I'm sure you're going to be still involved in your community going forward. And you can volunteer in the library anytime, I'm sure. right, staff? Okay, item number 2, public comment on scheduled agenda items. Any person may reserve time to speak on an agenda item not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to make a comment on an agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. City Clerk, please.
Under the consent agenda, A, minute approval. 1, approval of the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of October 6th. Recommended action, approve the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of October 6, 2014. Item 2, acceptance of the minutes of the following boards and commissions. A, Airport Advisory Board of July 9th and August 13th. B, Community Services Board of September 29th. C, Planning Commission of September 25th. D, Zoning Board of Appeals of September 18th. And E, Zoning Board of Appeals of September 24th. Recommended action, accept the minutes of the various boards and commissions. Item B, communications. 1, from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, transfer of ownership and location of an escrowed 2014 SDD license for Walgreens at 2101 Ashland Street here in the Sioux. The recommended action is no action required on this item. It's just an informational item for the commission. Item C, City Manager's Report. 1, authorization of purchase of generic time from the Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System, MERS, by Alicia Carr. Recommended action, approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of 6 months of generic time from MERS by Alicia Carr at a cost of $1,971, with the employee paying 100% of the estimated actuarial cost.
Okay, thank you. Is there any commissioner who would like something further explained? Commissioner Bauer.
I was just wondering, and this is a question, I suppose, for the city manager, whether we know the origin of the escrowed license that Walgreens is implementing, like where they get that from.
City Manager.
I do not have that information. I can research that.
Okay.
Yep.
And then normally, we take no action on those, but just for
Right, it was
point of
just-
clarification for you.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Sure, okay.
I'll send that to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Stefanski?
So moved that the city commission approve the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Boswes?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you.
The next item is communications. A, from the EUP Regional Planning and Development Commission, request for resolution of support for their 2015 Regional Prosperity Initiative application.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Hagan from the Eastern Upper Peninsula Regional Planning and Development Commission is here tonight to make a brief presentation regarding this item.
Okay, surely. If you identify yourself for the record, Jeff, we do appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Hagan. I'm the CEO of Eastern UP Regional Planning and Development and the Michigan Works organization for the Eastern UP. And we are making application again to the Regional Prosperity Initiative. This was an initiative that was launched by the governor in 2014. We were successful in obtaining a revised grant award for our region last year. Things that we've completed. We're still working on the Regional Prosperity Plan, but we were able to move forward in a really higher level collaboration with Michigan Works. This resulted in the creation of the shared management position that I'm now holding. So each organization is contributing 50% to the cost of this shared management position, saving costs for each organization as opposed to having a director for each one. We also made some technology improvements. Some of those will be coming to fruition here in November. We'll have HD video conferencing at the service center in the Sioux here at Michigan Works and also at the Luce County EDC. We see this as a significant thing for us in terms of the amount of travel and the money that we spend on travel to go to Lansing for meetings and different events. And we're currently using a system that's standard definition. So some of the things we've already accomplished under the 2014 proposal, we're on a little bit of a different time frame because we were not funded until March. So we are applying again. We anticipate our prosperity plan will be done by end of March, sometime in April of 2015. So some of the things that we're looking for in 2015 in a proposal, we really don't feel like we're ready to take that next step to a regional council, so we'll still be at a collaborative level. When they set this up, there's 3 tiers that you can move to. There's collaborative, which really require, you can apply and receive funding. Council is the creation of a new entity or a new board. And then the top tier, the Regional Prosperity Board, is a complete merger of organizations such as adult ed, transportation, et cetera. We don't feel like we're really there at tier 2 yet, but it's that's where the needle's pointing at this time. So in 2015, what we're looking for is some additional funding for some more video sites. We'd really like to get one in St. Ignace at the Mackinac County Airport. That would give our Region 3 good spots at our county seats in each location. Looking at some additional technology improvements at the service center to further integrate our computer networks and telephone systems. And then some of the other things we're looking at is a regional recreation plan. One of the things that many of the units of government outside of the SIU lack because they don't have a planning department or an economic development department is those plans that will allow them to apply for grants. So one of the big requirements in DNR is that you have to have a rec plan approved by the DNR. We had Director Craig come up from the DNR this summer, and he's looking at innovative things outside of the box. They're doing 2 pilots on regional recreation plans, but he basically said your area is underserved. Why aren't people applying for grants? Well, one of the big reasons is because they can't meet the most basic fundamental prerequisite, which is having an updated plan. So we're looking at that. We're also looking to try and implement some of the things we developed in the Connect Michigan program. That was something we undertook about 2 years ago through a statewide initiative to try and increase broadband accessibility, availability, and educational efforts. So there's a laundry list of things that we had in our technology action plans per county, such things as providing assistance to small businesses on how they can get in on broadband. Some don't have a website. Convening a regional technology summit. So there's a laundry list of things there that we'd be looking at to try and implement. Most of the things that we're looking to implement are things that we don't have the dollars for and that don't fall into a scope of work that we're currently working under. So things like the regional rec plan, implementation of the county technology plans for broadband. We're looking at possibly doing some marketing for career technical education to parents because we're seeing a definite need for some of those skilled trade jobs that aren't getting filled. We know that there's an impending possible crisis in corrections. The state's experiencing 60 retirements a month, and we're not able to fill those positions right now. And there's some problems there, but we're hoping that, you know, doing some marketing to the parents. So those are some of the big things that we're looking at. To move to Tier 2, we'd also have to do what they're calling a 10-year economic blueprint plan. What we're trying to do is really draw off of plans and efforts that we've been involved in the past. So, you know, we're trying not to just take those plans and stick them on the shelf. We're trying to breathe new life into them and look at what were those plans telling us 3 and 4 years ago and what's been implemented. In many cases, nothing. So, you know, that's a good starting point for us. So, and I'd also like to take the opportunity to introduce our newest staff member, Eric Wadesky, is here with me tonight. He started at the end of May. He's primarily working on the RPI and taking on the economic development program. Recent graduate of Michigan State University. So we were able to capture him from South Lyon and bring him to the Eastern UP. So I think it's a major victory for us and really happy to have him on board. So that's basically in a nutshell what we're looking at for 2015. We appreciate any support that you could give from the City Commission. So.
Okay, thank you. Just before you go to the commission, just on behalf of the city commission, I'd sure like to congratulate you on your new positions. You're taking over the Michigan Works organization and still being the regional planning director. Big steps big shoes to fill with the retirement of Gwen Worley, who did an exceptional job in Eastern UP and certainly for the city of Sault Ste. Marie. So congratulations, and I'm sure you're able to do that. And we look forward to certainly the cooperation.
Like I said before, I took over for John Campbell after his 30-plus years at regional planning, and now Gwen, I said, slightly intimidating, but, you know.
And you're still a young man. That's great.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Commissioner Bauer.
So moved that the commission approve the resolution supporting the Eastern UP Regional Planning and Development Commission's 2015 RPI Grant App.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good luck to you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, we are now into the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Item A under City Manager's report would provide authorization for the execution of a retainer agreement with Abilita. As commissioners are aware, as highlighted in the memorandum, at its May 2nd, 2011 regular meeting, the City Commission authorized the execution of a master service agreement between the city and Abilita, also known as Aylward Consultants, to conduct a review of the city's telecommunications systems and submit recommendations for improvements to the same. This agreement was originally structured as a 36-month term agreement and provided that Abilita would retain 50% of all savings that were achieved between the city staff and Abilita for improvements made to the telecommunications systems. Originally, this was brought to the attention of the city administration in 2011 as Abilita had been forming a partnership with Michigan Municipal League in an effort to try to help municipalities reduce their telecommunications costs. Over the lifespan of the 3-year agreement, between work put in by city employees and Abilita, a total of $260,000 in savings were obtained, just under $90,000 a year. And in addition to those savings, there were additional efficiencies that were achieved because Abilita can help expedite the resolution of telecommunication issues that the city experiences with AT&T, and because it conducted a lot of work that otherwise would have dominated the attention of staff. Included in the packet, commissioners will find a proposed retainer agreement that would extend the city's use of Abilita for the next 24 months for these telecommunication services. As noted in the memorandum, the payment structure included in the agreement would change materially so that instead of saving 50%, obtaining 50% of the savings, Abilita would now be paid $2,000 a month. This would total $48,000 over the term of the 2-year agreement. However, when you factor in the savings that were originally obtained under the 3-year agreement, this would essentially cut the incurred cost down to $14,521, assuming no other savings are achieved, which in the opinion of myself and staff, there will be other efficiencies and savings that are obtained. One additional note, over the course of this agreement, we will be working to create a detailed inventory of the telecommunication systems of the city in preparation for the city to potentially move to a voice over IP system. And we expect that this will be something that will be helpful to the city in the long term. One final note, an opt-out clause was negotiated into the renewal agreement so that if we do not see a tangible return on investment from the execution of this agreement, we would have the option to extricate ourselves from the agreement. Accordingly, I'm recommending that the City Commission authorize me to execute the presented renewal agreement with Abilita for a term of 24 months at a cost of $2,000 per month.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Lynn.
So move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Vasquez?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you.
Item B, under City Manager's Report, would provide approval of a first resolution for public improvements to sidewalks, and I have requested that Community Development Director and City Engineer Basista make a presentation regarding this matter.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Certainly.
For this fiscal year, you appropriated in the current fiscal year budget $20,000 for a sidewalk replacement program. And the objective of the program is to eliminate hazardous sidewalk, trip hazards, and just in general, improve the overall appearance of condition of our sidewalks. And it's intended that this will be a proactive program where we go out and select sidewalks to be repaired, and then their property owners would participate in a special assessment. And also, it's intended that this hopefully will be an annual appropriation so that we have a lot of sidewalk to replace. We do have about 54 miles of sidewalk in the city, and our GIS technician has updated our sidewalk inventory. And just as some statistics for you, in the 54 miles of sidewalk, and the sidewalk was evaluated on a scale of 1 to 6, 1 being in good condition, no cracks, no vegetative growth growing up through the sidewalks, to 6, which was sidewalks which are just totally missing portions and overgrown and so forth. So on a basis of 1 to 6, the 3 through 6, which is some deep cracking, some buckling, all the way up to total deterioration, we have 13% of our sidewalks are in that condition. So that means that 70, 87% are actually in, pretty decent condition. But that being said, we still have a lot of sidewalk to be replaced, and at a cost, even at the low end of the scale of what we're estimating right now, at the low end of $6 a square foot, to replace all the sidewalk in a condition of 3 through 6, we'd need $465,000. So 20,000, and we'll double the 20,000 because, as I said, it's anticipated the property owners would pay 50% special assessment. So we'll be replacing, the intention is for this year to replace $40,000 of sidewalk. We selected the sidewalk based on the route for snow removal because we looked at the map. With our GIS system, we can map the condition of the sidewalk, and seeing all these dots and lines and colors, no particular area really jumped out that we could get a good bang for our buck, and there's no way we could replace all of the tripping hazards with this first round. So we decided to take an approach where we would select one block or 2 blocks or whatever of sidewalk and start there. And so we selected the route that is cleared in the snow removal as part of the school walking route. So we started with Easter Day. And I'd just like to show you some pictures. I'll put them on the document. Sorry, I didn't give you notice.
That's pretty neat how you can do that.
That's pretty good.
I don't know what that is.
That's on Easter Day, starting at John Street, heading towards Bingham and Kimball. So again, we went to the high side as far as selecting the sidewalks for this particular round. We used $15 a square foot, just so we weren't including people that we couldn't afford to go through with. So this is the worst part of Easter Day, just starting at John. This continues. This is more closer up, some of the conditions. A lot of raised tripping hazards, a lot of overgrowth on the sidewalks. I'd say this is the least bad condition that in this section of sidewalk that we are proposing to replace in this particular special assessment. This is another good. But a lot of them are like this, completely overgrown. And these sidewalks, typically we have 5-foot wide sidewalks in the city. These happen to be mostly 6-foot wide. But when you're walking down the sidewalk, you wouldn't know it because the grass is so overgrown that they're very mostly narrowed down to about 5 to 4 feet with the overgrowth.
Do we, just a question, Linda? Do we know that the grass that shows in the middle of the piece of cement, do we know that there's cement underneath that, or is that just the grass has gotten through the crack and now it's spreading out over the top so that it's not quite as bad as it looks? If somebody took a shovel and cleaned off the grass, would you have a? We
lifted a portion of it,
Okay.
and so there in some areas it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
If when we remove the grass and find out that the sidewalk isn't in deteriorated condition, we can certainly
You won't.
remove it
Sure.
from the project.
Mhm.
But that's one thing our office has discussed, because what we'd like to do going forward, this is the first year in this program, and we've decided that going forward, we would send letters to the residents of the next targeted route and say, if your sidewalk is overgrown with grass, clean it out, because if it's...
Please, yeah.
Yeah, and because if it's overgrown with grass, we're going to assume that it's in deteriorated condition. So that way we can examine it and potentially eliminate some of the
The
folks
other
from
thing
the
that
special
helps, I know,
assessment.
is that when you cut the grass, you don't blow it on the sidewalk, you actually blow it back into the grassy area, and you won't get grass on the sidewalk a lot, and it won't grow. But if you blow grass across the sidewalk, it will grow.
Yeah.
You know, and it shortens the life because it all gets closer, and then, you know, number of people, you know, cut their corners on the sidewalk, and,
Some
you know,
people
and it
edge.
does take time. I mean, it's a labor of love type of thing, and you gotta like to do that kind of stuff, but it really helps if you don't blow the grass over the top of the sidewalk. And that might be just a recommendation that would go along with that, too.
Yeah, we
you
can
know.
certainly add that. Communication will be the key going forward.
I
Just-
think Commissioner Stefanski has a comment.
Yeah, question. I noticed the sidewalk along Easter Day there is particularly wide. And I know when they did some of the CSO work on the south side, they even narrowed the sidewalks a little bit. I think the sidewalk in front of my house might be 4 feet now, and I think it was 5 feet at one time. Are you considering possibly narrowing some of these sidewalks to maybe bring that cost down?
Well,
Do more
we're
sidewalks?
not, because we're not replacing the entire stretch of sidewalk.
So we'll look for it.
So if I show, switch that back to the document camera.
We have another, yeah, there you go.
No. If you see the highlighted areas, if we reduce the width, then we'd be going on a zigzag with the sidewalk. If there are areas where there's wider sidewalk than need be, again, we would typically want a minimum of a 5-foot wide sidewalk. 6 foot is nice, especially along Easter Day, being a major route. So it's kind of nice to have a 6-foot wide sidewalk. So anyway, we're approaching this project in our typical way that we approach a street improvement project, whereby we're coming to you with our first resolution, asking you to set a public hearing, and this would be the first public hearing with a hearing of necessity. So we're asking that you set that public hearing for November 3rd. We did have a public information meeting with the residents. We sent out letters to the affected property owners, and only one household came. And so we were able to fill them in on the project. They may be here at the public hearing. We tell people when we're scheduling the public hearings. But I don't have any other comments back from property owners. But again, if you set the public hearing for November 3rd tonight, then we will send out the official notices of the public hearing for November 3rd. There are 16 properties affected by this, and we're able to accomplish with our budget currently approximately 500 lineal feet. Again, once the project is bid, hope that the numbers come in way under what our high estimate is, so that we can do another round in the spring to cover the entire $20,000 that was budgeted.
Could you just give an idea of what the cost would be for a property owner on the?
Well, the property owners are, one property owner only has 12 square feet. So they would be, if we come in at $6 a square foot, then they're around $60, $70. But the property that has the most has 308 square feet. And so.
That's 1,800 roughly.
Yeah, and I would recommend that we do the same process that we do for streets, allow it to be spread out over 10 payments.
Is there an interest built into that too, or not?
Then when we do spread it across, we do
Similar?
6%,
Okay. Okay. And that'll all be explained at the public hearing?
yes.
Okay. Commissioner Bauer?
I have several questions.
Sure.
Number one, the folks with the 108 feet, were they perchance the people who were here? Or not, well, was that here, or where was the informational
Ye-
meeting? At the
Yeah,
informational
they're,
meeting.
yes, they were at the high end, not, the folks that were here were at 306 square feet.
And what was their demeanor?
Senior citizens that have paid a special assessment on their other street, they happen to be on the corner, so they had a special assessment associated with
Gotcha.
previous projects.
Do you know what the average life expectancy is of a sidewalk once it's completed?
Once you do sidewalk, even though it cracks a little bit, some of that sidewalk will last for 50-plus years.
What I was thinking is that if we need to do 13% of the sidewalk, and that runs $360,000 if we did all that, right?
400, yeah,
Right,
400.
thereabouts.
Mhm.
And we're only doing 40%, we're doing 11% of 13%, meaning that at that rate, it would take us 100 years to do all of the sidewalks in Sault Ste. Marie. However, I think this is a good start because these Easter Day sidewalks really get a lot of use. Not every sidewalk in Sault Ste. Marie gets the same amount of use. There are ones on dead ends and such that, I mean, if the people who are living there don't really mind them so much, then it's not as crucial. But as we have set a goal for ourselves to become a more walkable community, then repairing these sidewalks, especially the ones around the college, I think is crucial. That's just my opinion. If we need the motion, then I move that the, did we get a motion?
No, you'd be
Okay.
the person.
Then I move that the commission approve the first resolution for public improvement scheduling a public hearing of necessity for 7 p.m. Monday, November 3rd of this year for a sidewalk improvement project on East Easter Day Avenue, SW-01-14.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any additional questions? Thank you, Linda. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Torty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item C, under the city manager's report, would provide for the adjustment of city healthcare thresholds effective January 1st, 2015. As city commissioners are aware, in accordance with various collective bargaining agreements and established practice, the city has historically contributed predetermined amounts to the cost of healthcare that is received by the employees of the city that opt into the healthcare. These amounts are called thresholds, and they vary based on the level of coverage, so that there are different levels for single level coverage, two-person coverage, and family coverage. Specifically, this amount is $493 for employees that receive single coverage, $1,013 for employees that receive two-person coverage, and $1,268 for employees receiving family coverage. As commissioners are additionally aware, these thresholds are set to a certain amount, and a special health determining committee comprised of the city manager, city attorney, and various employee representatives work hard to select healthcare plans, the costs of which fall within these thresholds. This year, the Special Health Determining Committee has selected 3 healthcare plans that make up what are called the core plan, and that's the plan that is provided to employees free of charge and falls within these thresholds. And there's also the mid-range plan and the high plan. And essentially, employees, if they want to select the mid-range plan or high plan, can quote-unquote buy up to the coverage in those plans through payroll deduction. Now, at this time, the Special Healthcare Determining Committee has completed a lot of work, put a lot of effort into finding healthcare plans that fall within the threshold. And at this time, effective January 1st, 2015, the healthcare plans included within your packets, the cost, the monthly premiums for the core plan for the two-person coverage and the family coverage exceed the current thresholds by small amounts. Both of the monthly premiums are an additional $6. And essentially what I am recommending is that the City Commission take action to increase the thresholds on the two-person coverage from the $1,013 to $1,019 per month, and also raise the threshold for family coverage from $1,268 to $1,274 per month, while keeping the existing single coverage threshold of $493 in place. And that would remain in place because the core plan, the plan that falls within the thresholds, the single level coverage currently falls under the $493. In addition, as commissioners are aware, there was action taken last year that provided that the city would pay for the comparative effectiveness fee, the reinsurance fee, and the state insurance premium tax that are connected to healthcare reform. And this year, the administration is recommending that the City Commission again take this action. And both the actions of increasing the thresholds and the action of paying for these various fees and taxes connected to healthcare reform are in keeping with the City Commission's past practice of offering a core plan, or at least offering thresholds and fee payments that allow employees to receive the core plan free of charge. And that was one of the premises upon which this Special Health Determining Committee structure was founded approximately 8 years ago. And it's also in keeping with the city's efforts to ensure that reasonable health care is available to its employees. Accordingly, despite current fiscal restraints. Accordingly, I'm recommending that the City Commission take 2 actions related to the subject matter. The first, that the City Commission authorizes an increase in the monthly threshold for 2-person coverage from $1,013 to $1,019, and authorizes an increase in the monthly threshold for family coverage from $1,268 to $1,274, while keeping the monthly threshold of $493 for single coverage in place, subject to the acceptance of these monthly thresholds by the city's 7 bargaining units. Secondarily, I'm recommending the City Commission authorizes the payment of the comparative effectiveness fee, the reinsurance fee, and the state insurance premium tax for city employees for the 2015 calendar year at an estimated cost of just over $12,939
For the 2015 calendar year?
for the 2015 calendar year. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. There are 2 recommendations in discussion with the city attorney. Those are 2 separate motions. Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes. I move that the City Commission authorize an increase in the monthly threshold for 2-person coverage from $1,013 to $1,019, and that it authorize an increase in the monthly threshold for family coverage from $1,268 to $1,274, while keeping the existing monthly threshold of $493 for single coverage in place, subject to acceptance of these monthly thresholds by the city's 7 bargaining units.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Any questions?
I always support more.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Commissioner Shimmons?
I move that the City Commission authorize the payment of the comparative effectiveness fee, the reinsurance fee, and the state insurance premium tax for city employees for the 2015 calendar year at an estimated cost of $12,939.48 for the 2015 calendar year.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Comments? Commissioner Gary?
So we have to pay $13,000 in additional taxes to maintain the same insurance that we had previously because of the new law, the Affordable Health Care.
City manager? Yes.
That is correct, Commissioner Gary.
Supposed to save money.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Commissioner Stefanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bosvis?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And you always remember 8 years ago, which many of us were still here, and we are one of the few communities in the state of Michigan that actually have control of the health care costs, along with the bargaining units and the cooperation that exists between both to get to a point where they're manageable. And, you know, the commitment was made that we would provide, at least try to provide core coverages at no cost. And then these smaller increases that go up, I'm not sure how long that as Commissioner, reinsurance fee will exist. But we paid it in 2013 or 2014? This is
Right.
the second time, right?
This is the first time was in this calendar year 14.
Okay, so annually so far. But at least we certainly thank the bargaining units and certainly the city administration for, in my mind, you know, getting control of healthcare costs significantly, so that they really don't skyrocket as much as they had been. If you remember, they were going up 35–40% a year, and that ceased to exist with this coverage that we have now and with the agreements with the bargaining units. So we certainly thank them, and again, the administrative staff. Okay.
Item D, under the city manager's report, is the 3-month budget review as of September 30th, 2014, and I've requested that Finance Director Treasurer Collins make a presentation regarding this item.
Okay, thanks. Kristen?
Hello, City Commission, Mayor, and staff. I have reviewed the September 30 revenue and expense report and attached those for your reference. What I do in my budget review normally is I go through all of the commission actions first. And so I wrote those out. I won't go through them with detail, but hopefully everything was accurately portrayed in that section. Then I take each fund. We have gone, as of September 30th, we've gone 25% of the year. And so I take a look and I compare the percent budget to 25% and see if there's anything that's really out of whack at this point in time. And usually we haven't gotten ourselves into any trouble by September 30th. But I have on occasion found a few errors at this point, and I did this time too. So we'll take this opportunity to correct those. The first section I go through is general fund revenue. And this was not an error, but at budget time we thought that the fire service revenue that comes from the state of Michigan would be $117,000 or $170,000, and turns out that that's only going to be about $117,000. This is the revenue that the state pays us to maintain fire service at Lake State. So we decided to take the opportunity to adjust that downward. Last fiscal year ended up being $117,600, and it looks to be the same this year, according to Chief Thorpe. We also received a few donations for the fire department, $2,500 from Walmart and $1,000 from the Heinz, and that will go toward fire equipment. And so one budget request is to adjust both of those upward for the donations revenue and the expense side. The negative effect of the general fund net is $49,200 on revenue. The expenses were also reviewed category by category, because when you approve the budget, you approve by cost category. So the commission is in its own legislative category. And then we have general government, which includes city manager, clerk, finance department, other departments such as assessing. And all of those look to be in line. We get to the health and welfare and public safety, and I noticed an error. We have $168,000 worth of revenue in the sewer and water fund for hydrant rental, and the fire department has to pay for use of those hydrants. And for some reason in the expense side, it was only $155. So I'd like to adjust that cost expense line item in the general fund upward $13,000. The next, that's the only thing in the public safety at this time, although overtime is running high. We'll have to watch that, and we may need a revision later in the year. The Department of Public Works section cost category is looking very good at this time, although we may see street lighting go up you were here for Cloverland's presentation. There's been a lot of news in the things are changing. We don't really know what the outcome is going to be at this time, so I left that out, but I did want to warn you that that may become an increase later on in the year. The culture and recreation category looks to be in line. I didn't have any requests for that section. However, I did find an error to the general fund's benefit. Transfers going out to the debt service fund were exaggerated because I used the wrong amortization schedule. I was very pleased to find this error because it's really helpful to find an extra $200,000. So we would like to take this opportunity to correct those transfers out. And that also, that correction will also be listed next in the debt service fund. So I'll swing past through to the same effect in the local or major street fund. This building is the one, the amortization schedule that was mistook for a different one, a much larger one. And this building's bond also includes Water Street bond, which is paid for out of the major street. And that's why that one was needing correction as well. So those are just transfers. Another revision I have asked for, and really the only operational one that was requested, was the GIS contract, which is for the mapping that Engineer Basista and her department do in order to keep our GIS working for us and improving it as we go. That contract was approved in June and was not able to finish up before the end of the year. Because it's an operational budget, it's not going to be carried over like a capital projects budget. So I requested an increase in the operational budget for this year. If there are any questions on the budget summary, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Thank you very much, Kristen.
Welcome.
Commissioner Gary? Are we ready for a motion?
This page into the right place there.
Want me to fill in for him, Your Honor?
Nah, I got it.
We'll let him.
I'd make a motion that we approve the budget revisions detailed on the inclusive schedule.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stefanski?
Yes.
Commissioner Tuorty?
Yes.
Mayor Bospas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Shimmons?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That concludes the city manager's report.
Okay. We got some status reports, didn't you?
Yes, under item A of status reports, the 2015-16 fiscal year budget preparation schedule, as highlighted in the memorandum, Finance Director Collins has created the included schedule for the preparation of the fiscal year 16 budget, and there are several dates to note that involve the City Commission, including Monday, February 9th, 2015, which will be the annual goal-setting session, Monday, April 20th, 2015, when the budget will be submitted to the Commission, and the scheduling of budget work sessions on Tuesday, April 21st, Wednesday, April 22nd, and Thursday, April 23rd, 2015. As in the past, a special meeting will be held to reconcile the budget on Monday, April 27th, 2015, and thereafter the budget will be scheduled for formal introduction at the May 4th, 2015 City Commission meeting, with the public hearing being scheduled for the May 18th, 2015 regular City Commission meeting, after which the budget may be approved. As additionally noted, work is currently ongoing on the 6-year capital improvement plan, and that will be presented during the first meeting in January.
Okay, and if the commission would like, I would certainly like to involve Commissioner Bill Munsell again as leader for the commission as we go through the budget process. Do you all agree with that? And we'll talk to Bill and see if he is willing again to help us with that. He did it last year, even though he wasn't was no longer a commissioner, and I think he enjoys it, and we certainly benefit from his wisdom going through the budget. So we'll ask him again if he would like to participate. I say I'm talking publicly so that he'll know it's coming up if he's listening. So we'll try and get him on board here and give him the dates, looking at, where is that, in April? The 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Normally, we are able to get through that on the first night, the Tuesday night, and we haven't had to come back. And normally, in a number of years that I can remember, so he leads us through that process, and it works pretty well. So you all agree with that? Huh? The consensus is sure? Good. Thank you.
Item B, under status reports, Halloween festivities. There are 2 Halloween festivities that are upcoming. The first is a downtown trick-or-treat night that's organized by the DDA, which will be held on Friday, October 24th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. This event will have the usual trick-or-treating, as well as a variety of activities, such as a zombie walk, a kids' carnival at the Ramada Ojibwe, hay rides, costume contest, and a haunted house at the Sioux Theater. In addition, wanted to make the community aware that the police department has released a press release indicating that trick-or-treating for the community will be held from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. on Wednesday, October 31st, and advises that kids dressed up for trick-or-treating have reflective clothing, bags and/or glow sticks so they can be easily seen after dark, and further advises that drivers should be very careful on Wednesday, October 31st between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. and pay attention for kids trick-or-treating.
Just before we leave this, this reminded me that the DDA director, is recovering from injuries sustained in an automobile accident, and I haven't heard recently. We've been out of town for a week or so. Is he? Anyone know? The manager probably does. Could you just give us a brief update of what you can tell us?
Sure. I spoke with Mr. Nepper today. He is at his parents' house right now. He's improving. He said he's feeling better every day. We do expect that he will be back up to full speed in January, although he's trying to certainly staying on top of things through email, and certainly how active he is, being very involved as much as he can be.
Well, our thoughts and prayers are still going out to Justin. He's a very lucky individual, and looks like he'll have a full recovery. So that's great news. So we wish him well. Okay.
And that concludes the status reports, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And again, the Halloween festivities. We just, as a community, we really remind folks the safety is first, and with young children running through the streets type of thing, not knowing where they may end up, be very careful on that particular night. We would appreciate it. Item number 7, matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Well, thank you very much for your attention. Item number 8, matters presented by the City Commission. Commissioner Tuarte.
Thank you. I just have one quick comment. I know there was a lot of sporting activities over the weekend, but the one that I had the opportunity to be at was the Sioux High cross-country team over in Marquette. They were at the UP State Finals. And I know we had great weather here. However, in Marquette, it was not great. It had to have been 20-mile-an-hour winds, sleet, snow, rain, and it just proves how strong and dedicated these kids are, that they strip all the way down to their itty-bitty shorts and their tank tops, and they still run their 5K as fast as they can go. It's always a really emotional event because it's the last one for Jim for the year. And the boys came in 4th and out of the D1 category out of 9 teams, and then the girls came in 2nd place. So they actually got onto the podium this year, and it was just a really fun event to see, and I just wanted to congratulate Jim on another great year at Sioux High. Okay, great. Yes, and the Sioux High cross-country team is both boys and girls is exceptional this year. Yep. Also, before we adjourn, just a number of us went to Marquette for the Michigan Municipal League conference the past week, and we can tell you that
Marquette is thriving. Their waterfront looks tremendous. They're making great strides over a 45-year period. Back in the 60s, well, it's longer than that. Then it's near 50 years they've been working on, trying to improve an industrial base that they had on a waterfront. And we all know that Marquette ends at the water. They're downtown, and they have a number of parks that they have, and they deserve certainly an awful lot of credit. They have, it looks like, capital coming into the community. Of course, they have Northern Michigan University, 9,500 students. It certainly is a big player in the hospital. And we understand when we were there, the hospital is going to, it's privately owned now, and the hospital is going to begin building, I think, next spring. $350 million building. So a lot of good things happening in Marquette, but we were able to take, I know a number of us were there and got a lot of information and some nice ideas, and think that we can maybe influence our area a bit going forward. And certainly the long-range plans for Maloney's Alley are something that are key now that we have the plan moving forward on that. Also, the electric rates. We, as a commission, did meet. A number of us, everyone that was there met one of the mornings with other communities in the UP and talked about the process and the communication that's needed to stem the tide, to at least hopefully the rates won't go into effect in that December 1st date that we all hear about. And I see our federal senators are on board with trying to stop that date also. So with our U.S. representative, the state legislature, the governor's office, a lot of people are involved in making comments. Certainly, the comments that come from local citizens are important, and emailing those comments versus mailing those comments, you get a little bit earlier response, I think, because mail takes a while to get there, and an email, as we all know, is pretty very quick, in fact. So, and they respond to that. But keep the letters coming. The more they get, the more impact it makes. So I know the commission, if you want to make any kind of comment, feel free to talk about some of the things that we went to, but ultimately Marquette did a really nice job of this, I think, was 8 years ago, or that the last time that they had the league in their area, and they've come a long way in just that 8 years. But you all know that if you see the waterfront now, and we had pictures of what it looked like 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, some big improvements, and they're still working toward that, and it looks like they have a goal in sight, and it looks like they're going to get there. So good for them. Anyone else? Got pretty well covered for now. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Lynn.
Your Honor, I would so move we adjourn this meeting.
Support.
It's been supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you very
We
much.
didn't ask for comments from the public.
I thought we did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
did.
Did?
Yeah.